Is Voyagers of Nera worth playing right now for its early access launch? If the only thing you care about is the answer to that question, you're in luck. I'm going to tell you straight up front. Yes, in my opinion, Voyagers of Nera is worth playing right now if you like survival games and you're okay with playing an early access game, knowing the game is currently not complete and that it'll be getting updated over time. If you appreciate me telling you that straight up front, make sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for more content just like this. For everybody else that wants more information, let me dive into what the game's all about, tell you my experience with the game, what I liked and what I didn't like. First things first, I want to thank Treehouse Games for providing me with a review copy of the game. I'm free to say whatever I want about the game, positive or negative, so there's no sponsorship here or anything like that. If you ever see me doing a review video, know that I'm not being paid to do review videos, and that if I do a review video and I've been provided a copy, it's under the contingency that I can give my honest opinions on the game. So with that said, let me give you a brief overview of what to expect in Voyagers of Nera. It's a 1 to 10 player survival crafting game set in an ocean world. You're going to be dropped in on a little archipelago of islands. You'll be able to explore the islands, explore the water. There's a couple of biomes, which I'll talk about in just a second. And in each area, each of the biomes, you're going to be rescuing spirits. You're going to be exploring ruins, discovering monoliths and markings, all while taking on a variety of enemies. One of the things I really liked about the game was right when you start up your world, you get a couple of customization options that will let you fine-tune your experience. So if you want a super hardcore experience, you can do that. If you want a really casual experience, you can do that. Specifically, you can disable durability if you don't want to have to deal with it. You can tune the damage dealt to enemies as well as the damage taken from them. And you can also crank up the gathering rates. So again, if you want a casual experience, you can get one. If you want a hardcore experience, you can get one. Next up, let's talk about performance. I played the game on my PC, which has a 4090 GPU, an i9-13900K CPU, and I have 64 gigabytes of RAM. I played completely solo throughout this entire time, so I can only speak to solo play. I cannot comment on how multiplayer works or how multiplayer functions. I ran the game at 2K resolution, and I started off on high settings, and I was getting between 90 and 130 FPS. Dropping into medium settings, I got 110 to 150 FPS. I had no crashes and no game-breaking bugs at any point during my time with the game. I'm going to caveat this by saying this is my experience. If you have a lower-end PC or a mid-tier PC, you're almost surely going to get lower FPS. But like I said, the game ran pretty well, all things considered, for an early access game. So what can you expect for the current launch of Voyagers of Nera in terms of content? The game is launching with 3 complete biomes, and it's going to have roughly 10 to 20 hours of content, again, playing solo. The amount of time it takes you to get through the current content is really going to depend on how much you explore and whether or not you beeline all the quests. The game is going to show you where the major points of interest are in the game, and you could theoretically just go and hit them one after the other and get through the content super, super fast. But if you want to find like all the spirits, if you want to find all the other points of interest and stuff like that that are available in the game, it's going to take you a little bit more time. Like I said, roughly 10 to 20 hours of content is what you can expect right now, with obviously more to come in the future. So what did I like about Voyagers of Nera? First off is going to be the setting of the game. It is an ocean world. It is unique from most other survival games I've played in recent years. It's like a beautiful world, and I just really like the setting of the game. I also like the traversal. So you're going to start off by just swimming and running around on foot. You unlock a boat, but the part that I really liked was when you unlock the skimmer, which is essentially a surfboard that lets you just glide across the water and explore kind of wherever you want. You can go between the islands. You can even go between the biomes. The skimmer is absolutely amazing, and it's just it's like one of the features that sets this game apart from other survival games. In addition to that, you're also going to later on unlock a glider, which is really useful in the second biome because that's where you're going to end up unlocking it. But you can actually use it obviously in any of the biomes, and it just lets you jump from the like high areas of the map and just explore around. Again, the second biome is really designed for it. Once I unlocked it in the second biome, it just like completely changed the game for me in terms of like places I couldn't get to before. It was just absolutely amazing. I also like the underwater exploration. So in addition to skimming over the water, either on your skimmer or in the boat, you can also dive under the water for resources. Generally what I found playing through the game, if you can't find a resource, or if you're looking for something, you're like, man, I don't know where this is because I can't find it. Search underwater, because guess what? That's probably where it's going to be. There's lots of different resources under there. You can also get fish, but there's also going to be some dangerous enemies under there as well. So it's not going to be completely safe. You have to kind of be mindful what's going on. The building system is pretty clean. It also has lots of options. As you progress through the game, you're going to unlock more and more building options, lots of different choices in what you want your base to look like. And it's like you can build some really cool looking stuff. Another thing I like is that resources respawn, I think, every day, or maybe it's every 2 days for some of them, but the resources respawn really quickly. So you're really not going to run out of resources. There's like little vases around that have stuff in them. They seem to get restocked, I think, every day. Next is going to be that food provides buffs and you don't die from starvation or dehydration. This is actually a change from the demo when I played it. And one of the reasons that I'm recommending this game is these developers actually do listen to feedback, which, I mean, I know other developers do listen to feedback and they take it in, like, but in this case, I provided feedback saying that during one of the demos that, man, I really wish the food would just provide, like, be like Valheimer and Shrouded, where it just gives you buffs and you don't actually die from starvation. So they were like, you know what? That's cool. And they just completely changed it. That along with a bunch of other things. So food's just going to give you buffs. So if you played Valheim or if you played Enshrouded, think of that. It's going to give you buffs, either more health, more stamina. Repairing gear is free at the repair station. So like I said, if you don't want to deal with durability at all, you can literally just turn it off. I almost never ran into a situation where durability impacted my gameplay because the gear has pretty good durability. And at any time you can just use a repair station and repair it completely for free. I also really like the addition of the abilities, which are kind of like magic. Back when I played the demo, I don't remember that stuff being in the game. I think you could like augment things by crafting. I think there were certain things I think you could craft to augment your character, but now there's just straight up like abilities you unlock. You unlock abilities by doing some of the quests. You unlock abilities by rescuing the spirits, and they just make combat and playing the game a lot different. So rather than just sitting there and poking an enemy with your spear or hitting it with your club, you can actually just cast magic spells against them using your abilities, and it just makes for a better experience. Lastly, the thing I liked about the game is it's only being developed for one platform. So I know this might disappoint some of you if you're not on PC. The game is currently only available on Steam. They did say that later on they are planning to bring it to console. That is the plan long term. But developing a game for a single platform just makes it so much easier to identify problems, fix problems, and just get to just get a finished product much faster, rather than if you're dealing with making the game for PC, console, multiple consoles. It's a lot harder when you're developing a game for multiple platforms. So just being on PC is going to make, I feel like, early access a lot better experience. All right, so what did I not like about Voyagers of Nera? First off is going to be the progression pacing. I feel like you unlock stuff way too early, because what ends up happening is you get XP for pretty much everything you do. You chop down a tree, you get XP. You gather a resource, you get XP. You fight an enemy, you get XP. Pretty much everything you do gives you XP, which means you're going to level up really quickly. You also get, and that's going to give you knowledge points, which are used to unlock things in the tree. And you also get knowledge points from discovering, I think it's the markings or the monoliths in the game. You might get it for both of them. And what ends up happening is you will unlock stuff way before you're able to craft it. So you'll be multiple tiers above, multiple levels above in the tree, in terms of like, you'll be at like level 10, but you can only craft stuff that's like in level 7 as an example. And then later on, it just keeps happening. So you end up actually being able to build stuff. And like, I'll be building workstations and I can't actually finish building them because I'm missing one of the resources, or I can't use them because I haven't upgraded something else. So the progression just feels like it needs a little bit better balancing. The game has fast travel, which is awesome, but in my opinion, it's unlocked way too late. More likely than not, you're not going to unlock it until you're pretty much finished the second biome. So what that means is you're going to travel from the first biome to the second biome, and you're basically going to have to take everything you need with you unless you want to travel all the way back. I think fast travel should be unlocked way sooner. I think it would be better if it was unlocked in the first biome. That way you could set up the portal where your first base is, and then just go to the next, go to the next second biome. You can set up a portal there, and you can get back and forth. It would just make the game feel a lot more smooth. Next up is going to be the game also has craft from storage, but it's not going to be available at the start. So it feels like you just get it way too late because it's pretty far down the tree. In my opinion, any game that has crafting should have craft from storage from the get-go. It just doesn't have it. The game also doesn't have hot deposit. You can't just walk into your base and press a button and hot deposit stuff. You basically have to go into each chest and deposit things. And another little minor thing is there's no sorting button in your inventory or in the storage chest. That should be something that should be pretty easy to address. But craft from storage, in my opinion, should be right from the get-go. Next is going to be that combat feels really basic. So the early enemies, honestly, if you use a spear, you can just poke them and they almost can't reach you. Combat is essentially attack an enemy and roll away, use an ability, roll away. There's, from what unless I completely missed it, there's no like parrying or perfect blocking. You can use a shield, but essentially combat just seems like hit an enemy once or twice, roll away while they attack, and then repeat. And then lastly is going to be, I don't think there's enough enemy variety. So they did change up the enemies in the first biome compared to when I played the demo a long time ago, which was nice. But then once I got to the second biome, I'm like, oh wait, these are the exact enemies that I remember seeing in the first biome the first time around. And there's not really a ton of variety in enemies. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And then specifically when you go to the ruins, most of the ruins are going to have a like almost like an elite enemy or a mini boss that you have to fight. They are very similar. And what ends up happening is the fights are, it's just like the same fight over and over again. And the combat for it is basically poke the enemy, wait till attacks or roll away, hit it and repeat. So I just think if they did a little bit more with the combat, it'll make the game overall a better experience. So those are my thoughts on Voyagers of Nera. Like I said in the intro, if you like survival games and if you're okay with playing an early access survival game, knowing it's not a complete experience and there's going to be changes and more content coming in the future, then I absolutely recommend playing it. The game's going to be priced at $30 for launch. I think it's actually on a discount for the first couple weeks. So I think you're going to be able to get it at like $23 or $24. And like I said, you're going to get probably 10 to 20 hours of content out of it, depending on how fast you rush everything. If you want to go wild and just build everything and unlock everything, you'll definitely get more than 20 hours out of the game. And like I said, it feels really polished. I didn't have any major bugs. I didn't have any crashes, and the game ran really well for me. So overall, I do recommend Voyagers of Nera. Once again, I want to thank Treehouse Games for providing me with a review copy, and I'm definitely looking forward to the future of this game and seeing where it ends up at 1.0. If you found the video helpful, make sure to hit the like button. Consider subscribing for more content just like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.